Hello, everyone. This message is to Tyra Banks and various other supermodels and various other media stars out there. I'm inviting you all to turn to God and to do what you can to better this world, because and Tyra, you can't. I'm using you because you have the Supermodel show, and you have also made a show about inner beauty. Well, God teaches the ultimate truth in inner beauty, and what most people don't understand, they need to look at the inner goodness of a person, as far as a person's good deeds and how he behaves, more than the superficial things most people look at. Most people look at a woman, and this is why you women need to dress better. I'm not attacking you. Trust me, I used to be a heathen myself. Before I turned to God, I was a heathen. Did all the little evil deeds I liked. But then God showed me that's not the way. And God showed me the effect my deeds have on society. And as a man of God, I'm here to better the world and to teach my brother and sister, and the whole human race is my brothers and sisters, to behave better. And and as far as even you stars, you have a lot of influence on the world, because most of these people, a lot of these people worship you like gods. You stars, they worship you stars like gods, and they shouldn't. And it's not personal. No man should be worshipped like a god. We're here to worship God the Father. But God teaches through his holy books a good standard of behavior. And, and even with you women, why you need to dress better, because you have to understand the ungodly male mentality. Without God, people they have an animal-like behavior. So they naturally want always more sex with as many women as they can have, or as many men as they can have. They naturally want to be greedy. They naturally want to do evil that they can get away with. They naturally want to do all the bad they can and use all the people they can, because that's the ungodly nature of people. So when a woman dresses promiscuously and she shows her cleavage and she shows her buttocks and she shows all that stuff, well, you're just intensifying the animal nature in a man. And you women say, well, all men are dogs. Well, ungodly men are dogs because they're animals, But when you dress like that, that's like putting a steak out for a dog, and the dog gonna try to eat the steak, and and the more steaks out there, you got to hold the dog back. But women have to understand, and it's not an attack. It's I try to get women to see how the ungodly man sees them. A woman is like a picture in an art gallery to an ungodly man. You go to the art gallery and you see a picture, and you say, "Oh, I gotta have that picture. I gotta have it. Oh, it's beautiful. I gotta have it. So you buy the picture, right? It costs whatever. Gotta have it. You had to have it. Now you're hanging in the wall, and first couple days you're looking at it every day, and wow, you love your picture, and you're feeling good. And well, a couple weeks go by, you look at the picture, you still like it. Maybe 6 months goes by, you glance at the picture, you like it, you glance. A couple years go by, you hardly notice the picture's there. Well, for the ungodly man that looks at a woman just for the sake of looks and what have you, and sex, that same rule applies. He sees that woman, she's all made up and looking good, and she's showing her little round backside, and her little chest is out, and he says, I gotta have it. Then he gets her, and then time goes on, they have a little relationship, they start having sex, the makeup and everything comes off, and sinful personalities get involved, and he's upset, and she's upset, And the sex, he's used to looking at her by then, and he used to having sex with her by then. So now his animal nature says he's looking at the next picture on the wall, the next picture walking down the street in the reality, and he sees the next woman. She's all done up, and she's showing her little backside and everything else. And then he goes out and he starts sleeping with her on the side. Or he breaks up with you altogether and goes with her. Either one. Depends on usually what he thinks he can get away with. Because if he can get away with sleeping with 10 of y'all at the same time, he'll do it. Because that's his animal nature. So see, people don't understand true religion. And because religion, the way it's taught in this day and age, becomes a bunch of lunacy. People running around the church and all that other stupidity. The true word of God and true religion. I read all the holy books. Bible, the Quran, the Gita the Hindus use. And I put a holy book online. And part of the reason, the reason for the holy book, because the Lord came over me to do this, is to get people to heaven. But also to explain why a society needs God and to practice godly behavior. Because a society comes down to how well we behave. Economically, socially. Divorce, the more ungodly society, the more dysfunctional families, the more divorce, more drug use, more teen pregnancy, more AIDS, more other sexually transmitted diseases, more sickness in general. Bad because the behavior of the people is so bad. So this is why I try to get people to turn to God. And like I said, you people, as far as, people in the media and all, you have a large influence on how society behaves. So, and we're all held accountable. God holds you accountable. God holds me. We're all accountable to how we lead this world, or how we steer this world towards goodness or worse. Like, no different than if I take the kid, I go to the neighborhood and I get some kid and I start getting him high and I turn him into a dope addict. I'm accountable for that. If I try to make some little girl a whore, I'm accountable for that. So we all have to try to behave our best. And I know you just can't walk into your boss's office and tell people, look, I turned to God. I ain't doing this no more. I ain't doing that no more. Because I know how ungodly leaders are. I know how a lot of people in power. And you producers, you need to turn to God too, and all the rest of you people, executives. Because what you do for humanity is what makes you important. Like I said, you the rich man that made my daughter a freaking whore. Well, look here, if you die, it's a good thing. I ain't gonna say any other way. You caused me and my family nothing but misery. If you died, I ain't lose nothing at all. I hate to say it, but your deeds in life made it so I'm glad you did. So it's about people bettering their standard of behavior. That's what God is truly about. Like I said, forget all this other religious nonsense. If you truly understand the word, it's living in a certain way, living in a healthy, good way, and behaving so society gets better. So, it's up to you, Stars, to do whatever you can, because you know the intricacies of your business. So maybe you can get that producer to let you keep that button up a little more and wear that longer dress. And the key to it is, and see, if everybody comes together and stood up against the people in power, it's easy, because then the people in power can't do nothing. But when the less people there are, fewer people there are, well, you got to be more crafty in trying to get things to go that way, because like I said, you want to move the world in that direction, but at the same time, you don't just put your head out there to get your head chopped off, which means, getting fired and what have you. So it's doing things to move the world in that direction, trying to teach people to move the world in that direction in a smart way. And, there's some things you don't do, like get naked on the television. Look, that ain't worth the money. Don't do that. Having sex on the television, doing that kind of stuff. Look, life means more than money. Don't degrade yourself like that to make money. That's wrong. And see, I always see I look on YouTube and they always talk about this Illuminati with the eye, and well, that's just natural ungodly behavior, you know. And even back from the days of Pharaoh, it was like that. You know, he was in charge. He had his brown noses around him protecting him, and if the slaves wanted to revolt, you know, one of the brown noses would come and tell him because he got a little extra crumb, and you know, that's ungodly behavior. So this new Illuminati, like people, Illuminati, it's always been around. If you understand how people behave, how ungodly people behave, that's always been around. So I invite you all to turn to God and to try to make this world a more humane place, because, you know, the way you influence society makes a big difference. If you're going to influence society to make it more savage and more corrupt, then you're accountable. If you're going to influence society to make it better, well, then God reward you for that. So God bless and have a good day.